Hello. I've just finished my group call. It was a little bit short today because not everybody's back. So let me double check. So I thought I'd come on and talk about one of the things that we spoke about on the call today. So one of my lovely ladies who is also going to be in my in my mastermind, which is starting at the end of the month, came on, and last year 2024 we spent a lot of time building out this coach's strategy. So her marketing is working, her offers are locked in place, the marketing's working that we've been doing. She's got a micro offer that she's running meta ads to, and then she has an upsell, and then from there people are moving into the mastermind. So that is working very, very well for her. And one of the things that she spoke about is, because I'm talking about writing another book and I'm talking about my podcast promo and how well that's working. And so she said, I'm thinking about the podcast and the book. I'm planning my vision for 2025 and I see all of these things and I get really excited about doing all of those things, but I'm also starting to feel overwhelmed. And that's normal, right? You see people writing books, you see people, running podcasts, launching new offers, whatever it is. And it's really easy to get caught up in thinking, well, I want to do that too. And so I was able to really help her to get clear on the idea that we need to focus more on what's working. So what I mean by that is we spoke about books and the reality behind writing books, because her intention was, I'll write some books and there'll be another revenue stream. And I'm like, we don't write books for the revenue stream because we just never know whether they're going to make money. And there also needs to be promotion behind them. So it's not as simple as much as everybody would tell you. It's not as simple as write a book, put it on Amazon, and then it sells. That's not the reality. The reality is that it takes marketing. It takes a whole marketing campaign to get that out there and doing what you want it to do. So I said, do you really want to be like, you can write a book from it's a creative outlet. I love writing my books. I get so much out of it. They don't always make a lot of money, but there's so much that I get out of the book writing process itself that I will always continue to write books. I just love the process. And it's a creative outlet for me. I'm a writer. I love writing. And so I said to her, if you want to write a book as a creative outlet, and then, while you're continuing to build your audience, she's got two platforms that we're building, and one is organic, the other is paid. While we're building out the audiences over here, you can be writing the book as a creative outlet. And when the time is right, you can release it. And then your larger audience is going to want to take the book. It's an amazing way to let people to get to know you, understand, see the depth of what you know, and then they can make a really good decision about whether they want to work with you further or not, right? But I said to her, write it for a creative outlet, and I'm not saying it won't make money, but let's not write it because of that, because we just never know. And the same with the podcast. So she was talking to me about, the podcast and the promo. She said, so do we need to promote that as well? Yes. Like, if I don't promote my podcast, it doesn't have a lot of listeners. That's a reality. It needs to be promoted. And that's a big part of my marketing strategy in 2025. I've got a system that is working very, very well. I'm teaching that to my masterminders. It doesn't cost a lot to promote. So that is all great. Like, it all works very, very well, but it still requires promotion. And I was speaking to my client and saying to her, what if you, instead of doing a podcast, if you're not really sure you want to do a podcast, why don't you do a short podcast series and then promote the series and make the podcast in alignment with the podcast series in alignment with your mastermind? She's selling a mastermind product. And she's like, oh, that feels so much better than launching a podcast and doing it for the rest of her life, right? And so that's a strategy that's going to work for her in 2025. But here's really why I wanted to come on and talk about the bright, shiny things for 2025. A lot of people don't have the discipline to do more of what's working because they feel like it's not working well enough. And often that's because there's no point of reference for, is this working or is this not working? There's no real, I guess, litmus test for it because they don't know what they don't know compared to other people, right? They only know by their own stats, for example. And so we've got a paid traffic campaign that's working beautifully. She has another platform that she's leveraging that is all organic, that's doing very well. I said, if you really want to work less and build more ease into your business in 2025, then we need to do more of the paid traffic and we need to focus more on this other platform. And that's all you need to do. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to launch something else. You don't need to get all bright, shiny and write a book and launch a podcast because you feel like you need to do more. We already have something that's working. We need to go deeper on that. And so I just want to remind you, when you get tempted to race off and do something else that's bright and shiny, that instead of doing that, really have a look at what is actually working in my business right now and how can I further leverage that? How can I get that to work for me better, more than trying to do something else because you feel like you're missing out or because you feel like it'll be a fun idea. So my client, her focus in 2025 is revenue generation. That is her number one priority. As I said, the marketing's working, the products are in place, everything that she needs to have a breakthrough year in 2025 is in place. And so my job is going to make sure that she remains disciplined on the money-making things, and writing a book is not that. Launching a podcast is not that, unless she's intending to use it and run the marketing strategy that I'm using, because it all comes down to marketing. Whether it's a book, whether it's a podcast, whether it's an offer, whatever it is, it's going to come down to marketing. And even your free content is going to come down to marketing if you're on platforms where you'll be swamped. So my YouTube channel this year is going to be a big focus. I'm doing a 30-day content challenge at the moment. So I'm doing a video every day for 30 days. That's happening right now as we speak, and the promo is coming on board in the next week to start to promote my channel so that it gets pushed out into the news feeds. I'm not going to just continue to create content and hope the algorithm picks it up. It needs to be promoted. So you need to get your head around this, right? Whatever you're creating and promoting, this feels like it's skew-if. I don't know if that's my body or what. So know this, right? If you write a book, the end of writing the book is actually where the work starts. So you need a promotional strategy to make sure that that book does what you want it to do. If you want to launch a podcast or leverage the podcast that you've got, it's going to require marketing. And if you are going to start a YouTube channel or focus on your YouTube channel, it is going to require promotion. If you want to build your email list, it's going to require promotion. So get your head around the fact that you can achieve the same things as anybody else, but you're going to need to promote. Without the promotion, and usually paid traffic promotion to some extent, unless you're promoting the thing that you're creating, it's not going to do anything. It's going to sit on the shelf. Imagine how many people have websites that nobody ever visits. You can have a website, but that doesn't mean you're going to be found on the Googles or that people are going to just stumble across your website. It doesn't happen. You've got to promote the website if you want people to see the website. Just let me check my comments. Yeah, so great to see you on, Shannon. Yeah, so that's what I want you to get your head around. So one of the promotional strategies that is included in the mastermind this year is my coach on stage. And so I have a lot of people who want to get on stage and speak from stage and sell from stage, sell their high ticket offers from stage. And so this is the same principle, right? We want to run a live event, a large speaker event, and we want to get on stage, provide value, and then sell from stage. And that's great, but that event is not going to fill unless you promote it. So promotion is a big, big thing. And what I want you to focus on or consider focusing on is, let's not try and do 27 different things and spread ourselves thin. Let's focus on the one or two things that generate revenue, that generate leads, inquiries, sales, build our brand awareness, build our audience, and generate sales. We want to focus on those one or two things that work for you, and we want to go deeper on that. So we don't want to do 10 things. We want to do 2 things, and we want to do them with our full attention so that those things grow. Does that make sense? Because if you aren't focused on the promotion of the thing, it won't sell, or people won't see it. It's the same with offers, right? So let me talk about offers for a second. Your offers are there, right? You can have offers, and they can be amazing offers. But unless you promote those offers and you single-mindedly go about promoting that offer, the sales aren't going to come. People aren't just going to stumble upon your offer, and it all ties in together, right? It's all part of a strategy. So in the mastermind, what we focus on is, what are we selling? In the mastermind, we have 3 phases. So we have launch phase, which is where most of my clients will launch a high ticket private coaching package. Some people will bypass that and move to the leverage phase. Leverage is where you're selling your group offer. And then there's the scale phase, which is where you're selling a membership or digital courses and things like that, where you're essentially, the idea is at launch phase, we get you fully booked as a one-on-one coach, and then we move you into leverage. So there's a demand from your one-on-one to grow your leveraged offer. So what I mean by that is, if you become very good at selling, maybe it's a $5,000 or a $10,000 4, 5, 6 week coaching offer, and you become very good at delivering a result for that particular product, what's going to happen is people are going to start to know about you. They're going to see that you deliver on promise, and you're going to become booked out. And you can keep working all the hours of the day if you want to and burn yourself out, or you can then offer something else that's more leverage, like a high ticket group offer. And it also means that some of those people that have wanted to work with you one-on-one but haven't been able to afford you are going to be able to afford the group offer, which is the next best thing, right? So we force the demand for the group product by being so good at what we do with our one-on-one offer that it forces that demand. And then from there, you've got 2 revenue streams. Then you get to play around with the scale component of things. But for each session, each stage, we're looking at, what is the offer? What is the offer that you're selling? Make sure it's an irresistible offer to your market. It delivers a very clear outcome so people know without having to work too hard, what am I going to get if I sign up to this program? So that's that. And then we have to figure out how we're going to market this thing. And that's where a lot of the work is. We try many different things, or maybe not many, but we try a few different things until you feel like, this marketing strategy feels really good for me. I feel like it just feels really aligned with the product that I'm selling. And then we go deep on that. We go deep on, how do we make this more effective? How do we get a better result on this thing? How do we dial this up so that, the input is greater, so that the output, i.e. more clients, is greater as well? And that takes strategy, right? From the very beginning to the end. And we have to start backwards. So we start with, as I say, what is it that you're selling? How do we want to sell it, i.e. your marketing? And then what do we need to do to be able to promote that marketing in terms of, so the marketing is obviously the traffic component of it, but like, what are you going to be promoting, that bit in the middle? We call that the conversion event. And so the conversion event could be a live event. It could be a webinar. It could be a digital course. It could be any of those things, right? It could be a one-on-one discovery call. It's very different for everybody and every market. And we figure out what's going to be the best way to get traffic to the marketing, to the conversion events, so that then you can convert people into the offer, which is ultimately why we're doing any of the other things. But it never fails to shock me just how many people will go, this is what I'm selling, and then nothing here makes sense when it comes to trying to sell this thing. It's like they just randomly throw shit together and wonder why they aren't signing clients, because it just doesn't work. It doesn't fit right. And their marketing is saying one thing and their conversion event is something different. And then they've got this offer that's kind of everything's, it's a word I want to say. Nothing is flowing the way that it needs to flow to take somebody from discovering you, finding you, to becoming interested and engaged with you, to exploring a little bit more, to becoming a client. It's all got to flow. And if it doesn't flow, there's no dough. That's all I want to say about that. All right, so that is it. I hope that was helpful. And if you're looking for support in 2025, there are 2 ways that you can work with me. There is my mastermind, which is my 12-month signature offer, where we do all of those things. We start at the very beginning, and a lot of coaches that come to me or experts come to me, they already have started, but I always work my magic in the beginning to make sure that before we start to market and spend money on ads and things like that, I've run it through my filter, and I'm absolutely convinced that it's a no-brainer offer for people, and also that you believe that, because I can believe it's a good offer and I can believe the price is right. But if you don't believe those things, it's not going to sell. So I work my magic to get you in that place of feeling like, absolutely, yes, this is the thing. And then we move into those other phases. And over 12 months, the idea is to develop a scaled high ticket coaching business that continues to grow without you having to work harder. All your messaging is dialed in, your marketing systems are dialed in and working, and your offers are dialed in. And the year after that, you just get to rinse and repeat and go bigger wherever you want to go bigger. So that's one way. That's my mastermind. So if you go to my website, michellehex.com, it is the homepage. The other way that we get to work together is in my membership, which is FEMPIRE Builders. That is, you can join and leave whenever you want. It's $147 a month. And there is a framework in there, and there's 4 steps. So we talk about offers all the way through to marketing. So that framework is in there. And then I have different courses and hacks and resources and masterclasses that help you to achieve each of those 4 steps. And there's also a live call every month. So that is FEMPIRE Builder. So you can go to school.com/FEMPIRE, and you will find that there. And if you need the links and you don't want to do the Googles, drop me a message and I will give it to you. All right, that's it. I'm so fucking excited for 2025. Last year, I spent a lot of time really testing and measuring a lot of different things, and not even so much foreseeing whether they were going to work for me or not, but for me, it was more about what feels good and what feels aligned, and what do I want to do that lights me up. And marketing has felt very heavy for me in 2024, and 2023 was a record year financially. But on the eve of 2023 going into 2024, I was asking myself, do you want to do that again in 2024? And I just didn't want to. And it wasn't that, like, my mastermind is the same. It's more improved because I've learned more and because I did all that testing in 2024. It wasn't that the work needed to change. I love my clients. I never have problem clients. I love my clients. I love the work that I get to do. I love that side of things. That never changes for me, but the marketing just felt fucked. And it's because of the way that marketing became on Instagram. And I just felt like everything that I went to say has been said a million times by people who are lying and full of shit. And I just didn't want to be associated with any of it. And so last year I was really struggling to find my way with my marketing because short form content isn't my jam. And I was forcing myself to try and do short form content. Ironically, I've been doing the YouTube videos and I'm doing shorts. So I have to go through and find like the best minute and create a short video there so that I can promote my shorts as well. And it's like, oh, well, I can use these on my Insta. So the short form content thing kind of fell into place. But it wasn't because I went in deciding I've got to get better at short form content in 2025. I just went, I'm not doing that. I love long form content. So that's what I'm going to focus on doing in 2025. And it just happens that I'm able to create short form from it. And it feels really good for me. So yeah, last year was very much about trying on a lot of different things and feeling comfortable with what fit for me and what didn't fit for me. And, you know, marketing had me losing the will to live, I'll be honest. It just didn't feel good at all. And so I had to find these ways in the last 12 months of marketing in a way that felt good. Otherwise, I don't know what I was going to do. I was at a place where I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do because I can't market like that anymore. I can't make myself do it. And, you know, the answer was there all along, right? The answer was always there. And the answer was go to long form because that's what you love. And when I did that and took the pressure off myself to try and do short form, it just fell into place. So towards the end of 2024, I thought I'm going to focus on Instagram, really grow it. I've got a big audience over there. But it's like my writing, I have to try and squeeze into a smaller amount because it doesn't fit on the Facebook. Sorry, if I write on Facebook, it doesn't fit on Instagram. So let me go and write for Instagram so that it fits on both. And it's like, I was conscious of the word count the whole time and it just really limited me. And I don't want to operate like that. So that was always available to me. But when you get stuck in a mindset around, well, it's got to be this way, it's really hard to find our way out of it. But I did. And so long form is my jam. As you can tell, this video has gone for I don't know how long, but yeah, you can see long form is my jam. Anyway, that is it. I'm going to love you and leave you. You know how to reach me if you want support in 2025. That is all. I'll see you next time. Bye.